So we're here to talk about supporting your teammates and the support role. This is one of the biggest requested topics since I released that one fucking entry fragger video, because y'all seem to want to know different roles you can play with your team. So we're going to go over support, and some of the best characters to support are obviously going to be Breach and potentially Phoenix, and maybe even people like Viper. Pretty much anyone that can cut off and zone different areas or flash for their team is going to be a very good support. Now, just know there are times to support, and you don't always have to be a support player. If you are playing Breach, you are most of the times going to end up as the support, and there are times you need to know when you should not be going in first. If you are a Sage, you should never be entry fragging. If you have a full set of utility, you should also not be entry fragging, because you have utility to use during the round. So you want to make sure if you are filled up to the fucking brim on utility, you are not the first one going in. If you want to support, you need to know the proper times to support and the proper way to support. And a lot of it comes down to communication and being in the proper position to actually support your team. And being a supportive player takes a lot of game sense, because you have to know what your teammates are doing. And you have to kind of understand, like, hey, my teammate's about to be pushing up here, so you got to actually do some actions to actually help him get through here. Say flashing up here on this top area so he can kind of swing this angle, or flashing this default box once he's up on the box. There's just so many different ways you can actually play this. You can say, hey, I'm gonna block off your close angle so you can start pushing up, or I can flush a character out of here. Just know that communication is very, very strong as a supportive player. If you have a player coming up here, let's say I'm the player that's getting supported, you don't want to flash this without telling him, because he can peek into this and get blinded. So you want to make sure you are communicating with your team. You want to say, hey, I'm flashing sight. And then he can either say, okay, or he can say, don't fucking do that, I have my own plan. If he has his own plan, let him execute it. If he is the one entering, he's like allowed to basically, I guess he's allowed to like veto whatever you're trying to do, because he's the one taking initiative on the round. So if you want to flash, but he shuts it down, respect that. Respect that shit. Let him try and do what he's gonna do. If he just peeks out and dies like a fucking idiot, don't flame him for it. He had a plan, it didn't work. It's whatever. It doesn't matter that much. So all it really comes down to is flashing for your team, throwing utility in areas that may be useful, and trade killing. And trade killing, I've talked about this quite a bit. I've scratched the surface on it in a lot of my videos, but trade killing is basically where you are trading a kill one-to-one. So if your teammate dies, you are there to pick up the kill behind him. And as a supportive player, you should be ready for a trade kill. You would definitely not be the person going in first if you were supporting. It's just the way it works. If you are supporting for a teammate, that teammate should be the one pushing in first. And you want to be pretty much on his ass, trying to help him. So if he's pushing up here, you say, hey, I'm flashing for you. He's running up here, you are following right behind him, making sure that he doesn't get shot from certain angles as he's clearing different ones. And if he dies, you want to make sure that you are there to trade the kill for him. Now, there are two ways to trade kills. One is where you guys are right next to each other, like he's right here, and if somebody swings, you're both shooting at him, so if one of you dies, that kill is traded pretty much no matter what. The other way to trade kills is if he's pushed up all the way on this box, so your teammate, if he misses the kill, you swing and you try and trade that kill. That is a delayed trade, and that is the other way you can actually trade. There are multiple ways to trade, but those are the two main ways that I see in most of my games. Obviously, trading is basically just the act of getting one kill for a death, so that's pretty simple for the most part. Just know that one of the biggest roles as a supporter is trading kills. You need to be trading kills if you are supporting. Don't take it as baiting, take it as trading. You want to be very active as a support player on the comms and the way you are playing and your play style. You need to be communicating the entire time, and you need to be, with your actions, kind of showing that you are trying to support your teammate. Just know that supporting without comms is going to be somewhat detrimental, because if you are throwing utility without saying anything, that is going to fuck your teammates over. You need to be communicating where and when you are using your utility. You need to let your teammates know that you are doing this, because they are going to get pretty pissed if you don't tell them. Now, some ways that are best to support, obviously, like if you're Breach and you want to kind of help them with sight. I don't play Breach, so I don't really know any good spots, but you could peek out here and you could tremor this whole site, and that could give your team a lot of time to kind of start pushing up. You could flash, you could do whatever the fuck you want. I just bought this character for this video, but I know how he's played. I just don't know the perfect spots for him. So your goal as a support player is basically covering up the cracks in your team's offense and basically supporting, key term, supporting and helping your team get onto a certain site, using the proper utility, getting them onto site safely, and trading kills. Those are basically the main things about playing as a support player. You dictate a lot of how the round actually plays out with the usage of your utility. Your utility is extremely important, and if you actually use it properly, it can secure you a lot of rounds. I know this is a very short video, probably like 6 minutes, but supporting is also very simple, and it just comes down to properly using your utility and properly trading kills. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. It's very short, I know, I'm sorry. Maybe next time I'll give you guys a little bit longer of a video. I'm not doubting your guys' IQ, so I'm not gonna go like 20 minutes talking about this when it's such a simple topic and it's easy for players to understand. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Just no, Raideth, I'm not supporting the marriage. Fuck you. Goodbye.